Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is Wednesday night. So you know what that means. It's time for Kings of the Sport, episode 12. As always, I'm your host, Darren Williams Jr. And joining me as always, the West Texas hustler, Michael Anderson. How's it going, Michael?
Good man, good. Just glad to be here. Just still trying to get past being whooped up on and driving, and I don't even know, man. It was just one hell of a weekend. Not glad it's over, but not glad it's over. You know, that kind of stuff. But everything's good, man. I'm glad to be here.
Obviously, you're talking about this past weekend's NAPA Auto Parts Night of Fire and Thunder at Bandimere Speedway, the kickoff to the Extreme Top Fuel season out of Bandimere. And but joining us also, and he's pretty much a regular of the show now, so we could just kick it off with him. One of the regular co-hosts now, Mr. Bryan Hall. How's it going, Bryan?
Good, man. Same as Michael. Just still got a little bit of jet lag, and I got my butt whooped working on Michael's car all weekend. So I'm sure we'll get to talking about that soon.
Hey, Michael, you had kind of like a ragtag group of people helping you out this past weekend in Denver, correct? I mean, you brought a whole bunch of different teams together to work on your car.
Hell, there was just as many fuel drivers working on my car as there was racing, man. So everybody's got an opinion whenever you got that many guys. No, it was good, dude. Bryan came out to help. And he's helped me since the get go. So it ain't like nothing he ain't never done before. So he just over there fixing all my screw ups, that we talk about on the telephone. But I had him, man, Tyler Hester. He's a phenomenal driver, very knowledgeable individual. Rick McGee's son, Michael McGee, they went and did the bottom end of the car. I mean, it helped out really with everything. And then, Jim Young over there helping tuning. And I mean, you couldn't have had any more high quality individuals in our racing, trying to get this car to get down the track for sure.
And you mentioned Jim Young. So Young, one of the founders of Extreme Top Fuel as well. Like I said, Extreme Top Fuel season opener out of Bandimere. He actually wins the race, and not only wins the race, he does it in style as well. Semifinals, 574 track record ET, just all around dominant performance for Jim Young out of Bandimere.
Yeah, man. His car is dialed in. I guess that would be the term. And me and Bryan have definitely had this discussion talking about it. Even running at I think what we were like 8,800 foot at one time. Anywhere between 7,800 and 8,800 foot. And that car didn't miss a beat. Probably if the weather wasn't the way that it was and the track was where it could get to about 95 degrees, he probably would have ran in the damn 60s, man. I mean, it's, I don't even know. I mean, it's crazy because he ran, a 74, and I think Bryan might looked at his stuff, but I don't even think he made it all the way down the end of the track on that run, whenever he did that. And, it just goes to show you what that car is capable of. But, yeah, great job by him. Great job by his crew. Can't talk enough about what's going on there, and then helping everybody. He's not only helping me; he was helping probably 3 other cars there get stuff going. So and Bryan too. I mean, and everybody. That was what was kind of the crazy thing. We went to this race, and you're racing to win and everything, but everybody was there trying to get everybody there every round. For the fans. For the fans to watch these cars go down the track.
Mm-hmm. And so we're going to dive deep and really break this whole thing down in just a second. But before we do that, I got to ask you guys, because I'll be going to Bandimere Speedway for the final Mile High Nationals in a couple months. So I got to ask you, did you find any good chicken fried steak or anything out there? Did you find any good eateries that I can go to? Anything you recommend? Anything? No? Yes? I don't know.
Don't go to
ahead,
the
Bryan.
I think we ended up at a Denny's at like 2:00 in the morning on the first night we were there. That was pretty rough. We did find a good breakfast spot. I'm sure Michael could fill you in where it was. I don't know where I was. I didn't even know which way was east or west. We were having that discussion at night. I was so turned around from being on airplanes and riding in Ubers, and it took me a while to get there. And by the time I got there, I was so spun out of control, I didn't know which way the sun came up anymore.
I got you. Well, like I said, we're going to break this whole thing down in just a second, but got to go through a little bit of news though. We're going to be adding some cars in a short while. So got to give a shout out to Mike Hilton, the brother of Bobby Hilton. He was making some test runs out at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park in Indianapolis this past weekend. So as you can see some pictures right here. Did not get his license, but the plan is to finish up his licensing deal out at the NHRA Nostalgia Nationals in Bowling Green, Kentucky in just a little bit. And then also our man Kyle Huff. I know Kyle Huff was trying to make it to Denver this past weekend. Unfortunately, came up just a little bit short, but he was at Bakersfield this past weekend doing some licensing runs. So let's take a look at some videos from Kyle Huff in testing this past weekend. How about that? That car
Crazy.
sounds good. It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. Excited for him. You know, it's always a huge step to get your car to even get to the damn track and start up, man. It's such an overwhelming deal to find. But a lot of times, and even now that I've been doing it, I guarantee to you, Bryan, even you doing it as many years as he has, and I know Jimmy too is getting the car and finally strapping it down in the trailer and know that you're going to make it is a accomplishment in itself. And normally the stress is so crazy by then. You need 2 days just to get over getting your car loaded up. So Kyle ran into some problems, some transmission issues. I think he had to work through and kind of throwed him back. And luckily he was able to get out there to Bakersfield and try to get some stuff done. Congratulations to him on getting that car done. Looking forward to seeing him at some more races down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, just like Mike Hilton, Kyle's plan is to finish his licensing deal in Bowling Green, Kentucky for the NHRA Nostalgia Nationals coming up in just a few weeks, Father's Day weekend. So make sure to get your tickets very soon. Bryan, I want to get your opinion. Obviously, like I said, 2 new guys who are coming to the class very soon. How cool is to see, this, I guess you could say, revitalization within the class, all these newcomers and everything like that. I mean, this class is really healthy right now.
Yeah, I kind of saw the need for a car, I guess 2018, I guess, or 19 was when I switched over from the fuel altered category. Just saw the car count kind of dwindle in, and I wanted to go do something else besides the 6.0 racing, which is a great entry level for somebody just starting out in nitro. And, the baddest of the bad is top fuel, in my opinion. So I decided to switch over, and it looks like everybody kind of was on the same program. You kind of see a little window where it wasn't overly competitive with somebody dominating, and you figure you could put a car together, and race a top fuel car and maybe qualify for a few races, maybe even go a couple rounds. And that's kind of the ultimate goal, is to go out and be competitive. And it first starts out, you just want to go out and just be able to qualify. And next thing you know, you're trying to win and, burning up parts. So, I think those guys it's great, having Kyle come over from a fuel altered. We had Van Horn come over from fuel altered category. It's I think that class is doing exactly what it should, kind of training guys. And not that the Nano guys need any training. They've been doing it for a long time, like 3 generations of fuel racers. But for somebody like me, who was an alcohol guy, to get my feet wet in a fuel altered and have some success, I thought I could jump over in the top fuel category and do pretty good. And haven't really got there yet, but I feel like I'm always on the verge of being able to go a few rounds. We got a pretty competitive car, but I'm thinking hopefully soon I'll get some luck on my side, maybe, and turn things around a little bit.
Well, like I said, you ran very strong at the end of last season and ran very strong at the March meet as well. But, like you said, coming from fuel altered to top fuel, just like Kyle Huff, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there kind of a call out recently between you two? I think maybe a while back or something like that. Didn't Kyle call you out?
Yeah. I want to be the first person next to him when he goes down the track in competition, because my very first lap down the track against somebody in competition, if anything with nitro in the tank, was against him, and I actually got him. So I'm sure he owes. I'm sure he would like to get back. Unfortunately, I'm not going to Bowling Green, so I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know how that's going to go with getting his license at an event where they're racing. I don't know if he'll get to race or not, but I'm hoping. I don't want to say hope. I hope I get to pull up next to him, at least in qualifying, and we could square that one up.
That's awesome. And so, Michael, we've been talking about Bowling Green a lot on this show. Obviously, we're on the precipice of Bowling Green, the newly, NHRA Nostalgia Nationals. For you, and I just want to get your opinion on this. Do you think that this year's race is kind of, kind of like a little bit of redemption after what happened last year? Obviously, I don't want to get into all that, the drama and everything like that. But do you think this is kind of like, kind of like a bounce back year for this event and the Top Fuel guys?
Yeah, with everything that went on last year, absolutely. There's going to be a good load of cars there. I know that they're kind of talking about it being a 16 car field and all that. Do I see that happening? No, I don't see 16 cars, being there for that deal. I mean, it's a long discussion about why and what it takes to get 16 cars to an event. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'd have to pull every single one of my teeth out of my mouth to even talk about it, because it's such an ordeal to do it. And it will happen. It'll happen. Don't get me wrong. It'll happen. It'll happen at the right time, at a great time. I think that event's going to be really good. They're going to have some strong cars there, some new cars. It should be, just the fans will be happy with what's going to go on there. They're going to see some racing. I think that there's a good chance that there's a good chunk of funny cars that are going to be there because of what's going on at Bristol at the same time. So going to be plenty of nitro burned, man. Plenty of nitro burned. I like it. Been to that race a few times and stuff. I've personally, and I haven't talked to a lot of people, Bryan knows, my crew knows, but I've got to step back coming in to the next couple of months and get the word would shit together, because I mean, it's, I've thrown this deal together with this Hemi, and Bryan knows frustration is definitely something that's in my deal, but I've got to get everything dialed in, because I'm wanting to be competitive. I don't want to show up and, my lack of knowledge hinder us moving forward. So I'm probably going to step back for a couple of months, maybe till, first part of August, and, to get everything, straightened out with my car. I've never tested. I've never tested, even with the big block Chevrolet. We got it done. We tried to go to Paris, Texas. We did a burnout. Horrible. That was all we did. And then we went to St. Louis and raced. I mean, so we're going to do that. I know that the rest of the guys are going to be there to support that race. Hopefully Mike Hilton's, able to get there and get done, if he's trying to get his license runs done and stuff. And then Kyle, maybe he can get something done before then, to get in there and make sure that class is filled. But I think that we did the deal. There's probably you could have 10 to 12 cars show up. I would say probably 10, and out of those 10, damn solid cars to watch some damn good racing. So I'm excited about it. It's gonna be crazy. I'm not excited about having to do what I got to do, but the guys that are going out there and working with me on this car, they deserve a lot more than just working their ass off to just try to get there, kind of deal. So we're gonna step back a little bit, get everything put together, and then come back strong.
Well, Michael, I know you've been working real hard on this whole Top Fuel deal, and you're one of the key reasons of why this class is where it is now and why it's getting so healthy. So I want to, just give you your flowers right now and just say, and I know as hard as you work, I know you don't want to just come out here and just run. You want to be a winner and do the best you can. So I respect that fully, and we want to see you do well as well. So do what you got to do and then come back strong, man. Love to see it.
I guarantee you, Bryan and Jimmy are tired of fixing my screw ups, especially whenever they tell me you need to look at that and I don't do it. So no, it's good, man. I can't say that. I appreciate everything that everybody's done, and it ain't. I'm just a loudmouth. That's all it is. These guys that have been doing it for all this time and putting in their time before me, man, they're the ones that's kept all this thing done. I just been sitting there talking about it with you, and you were dumb enough to take my phone call, so that's the way that worked out.
And here we are, 12 episodes in, Kings of the Sport.
That's it, man. That's it.
All right, so I'm about to put you on the spot though, because we haven't done this in a while, and we're going to cut to break and dive deep into Bandimere in just a little bit, but. Listen to this. Any news you want to throw out there? Now we're here. Any news?
No, you just want some good any news.
Anything.
I feel like that Bandimere race, that night of fire, and talking with Kevin and Sporty afterwards and everything, that was probably one of the largest nights of fire, if not the largest night of fire that they've ever had, man. I cannot tell you how many people started rolling in at noontime on Saturday. It was unbelievable. Right, Bryan? I mean, it was just like you were sitting there, there was nobody, and then bam.
Yeah.
I mean, people were rolling.
There was nobody there. I was really kind of concerned that, we were going to have another, kind of St. Louis looking event on our hands there for a second. And we were going to get bashed on the internet by everybody. And, the top fuel race with nobody in the stands. And then it's like somebody opened the floodgates and there was just a line of people that just kept walking by. I didn't really realize. Yeah, I know you got to go commercial. We'll talk about in depth, but I didn't realize what was going on until we rolled under the timing tower, and I walked out there on the starting line trying to help Jimmy fire his car, and I looked over at the grandstands, and boy, I got nervous. It looked like there was 20,000 people out there. It could have been more. I have no idea, but I've never felt pressure like that in my life, and I wasn't even driving a race car. So yeah, it was pretty intense.
All right, let's cut the break, and when we come back, we're going to dive deep into it, talk all about it, and see how it went this past weekend out of Bandimere Speedway.
Sure.
If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your central console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at Destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to Destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System, TDS, and steal the thieves' hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kings of the Sport Podcast, episode 12. I'm Darren Williams Jr., along with Bryan Hall and Michael Anderson. And as we're talking about the kickoff to the 2023 Extreme Top Fuel season, kicking off at Bandimere Speedway this past weekend, Thunder Mountain, 65 years of history. And you guys basically kicked off Bandimere Speedway season this past weekend. And like you said, huge crowd, great racing. Michael Anderson, I would guess you could say this past weekend was an overall success.
Yeah, with the way that it started off, probably the Monday before, you're looking at the weather forecast and you're like, God, here we go. Because last year they got 6 inches of snow that, the same weekend as this, and you're watching and it's changed every day. It's changing, it's getting a little better. And, we were committed to getting there. It wasn't going to make a damn to me if it showed it was going to, rain 2 foot out, that trailer was going to be stuck in that parking lot, and so, luckily, we got there Thursday and all the guys flew out Thursday and Bryan was the only one that got hung out to dry out in Phoenix and, on the weather. Everybody else kind of made it. And then, we wake up Friday morning, man, and it ain't looking good. Like, you get out there and it's raining and nasty, and then it kind of dried up, and everybody was like, we're going to at least get one run in, right? So everybody gets their stuff ready. Bryan shows up. We finally kind of get everything rolling and roll out there on the track, man. And I bet that damn track was probably 60 degrees, 65 degrees, but, they did a great job. Everybody felt comfortable going down there and, wanted to get a lick in. And, there's probably 10 people sitting up there in the stands, but, we're there for the show. And the show was for us. Everybody was just sitting there, probably had their fingers crossed like, God damn, here we go. What's going to happen? And it went good, man. Everybody went down the track that could go down the track. And, we kind of went over there, and Sporty and Bandimere is and Kevin and Roe too are such good dudes to talk with because, we went back with them and said, hey man, we're supposed to run later on this evening, but it's 51 degrees outside right now. And the cloud cover came in and they were like, look, nobody's going to learn anything from this. Let's just go ahead and run tomorrow at noon. It's supposed to show, the weather's showing pretty good, breaking up, and then we'll continue on. And God dang, man, we did our noon qualifier. There was some people coming in, starting to fill in. Got done with that. and I'm gonna tell you right now, we got back to the pits, man, and it was like people rolling in like water. I mean, it's just crazy how many people were rolling in. I mean, it was just like, what is, I saw it before, but this seemed like twice as many folks, coming in where, it was hell to walk through the pits, within, outside of our little areas. And, man, it gets you fired up. Like, it gets you fired up to go race. Everybody's smiling, even though we got shit going on, everybody's smiling, because there's, people all around. And, then the weather kind of broke and it was on. It was, there wasn't any issue. I mean, it was like, let's go race, and no big deal. And the people would just come by and cram up in the, in your pit, behind you, and firing the car up. And I couldn't see them, but people were taking pictures and stuff. And then I think the E1, I think before E1, we did the whole stage deal where, like Murphy fired up, I fired up, we just went down the row of the cars, and it was like a moving mosh pit of people. Like, they started at Murphy's, and it was like everybody was just going, whoa, stop right there, whoa, stop right there, whoa. And I mean, what was that one dude, Bryan, that had I don't know, like a one shaded glass in his eyeball and his beard, and Bryan's like, this dude's like just standing there and letting it like choke him in the he said, I mean, like, ultimate fan of breathing in nitro. And it was cool to see everybody, man. Like, I'll talk about this till the end. I mean, it just, those people had a great time. The kids that were there for the Race to Read program were awesome. I probably put 50 kids in my car, after the race was done, man. Like, I was like getting my workout. So it's cool, man. It was cool. I mean, I feel like every racer that was there would probably tell the same story, and even the guys that were helping. I mean, it was Ryan's out there, Facebook Live and the whole damn thing, and so everybody can see what's going on. Because I guarantee you, them haters out there was thinking nobody was going to show up, man. And then the folks showed up, so it was good to see.
Bryan, was that your first time to Bandimere?
Yeah, I've never been to Bandimere. I had no idea what to expect. That's a long ways for me to go. I'm more of a local kind of guy, and Kevin's invited me up there to do some match race and stuff. And then we talked to Tulsa last year, and I said, man, some of us just aren't really interested in match racing. You can't pay us enough money to drive all that way just to run our cars. Like, we want to beat our friends. We want to line up next to the people the guys we want to race. We're all friends, but I want to line up next to Jimmy and I want to kick his ass. That's just what I want to try and do, whether it happens or not. That's what I want. And in a match race, it just doesn't feel the same to me. So they agreed. They said, we want to have an actual event. And then, then we got the ball rolling, and Michael and Kevin and Sporty all started talking. And then unfortunately my car owner said, no Bandimere. I don't know they just didn't want to pay for all the fuel and stuff, or maybe they couldn't make it. I'm not really sure, but and Michael invited me out to go, and I was happy for that because I got to see the track, and I'd never seen anything like it. And then, Jimmy's idea of firing up the cars one at a time down the line, he came by and said, I think we should all fire up. And I said, just one after another would be awesome, and then they announced it over the loudspeaker. So then people, I don't know what's that track, when people first got there, just walked by and like they kind of looked over, but they weren't really like, they weren't supposed to be in our pit or something at first. I was like, where are all these people going? I think they were all just trying to get their spot. And then they announced that we're all going to fire the cars. And then all of a sudden all the people came back, and you didn't realize how many people had gone by until they all started crowding around behind the car. And I went Facebook Live for that exact reason. You don't really see an organ, everybody was so put together that weekend. We were all kind of on the same track. Everybody wants to race and win, but we all wanted to put on a show. So it kind of worked out for the best, that everybody got it. We need to be on the starting line. When they say be up there, do your best to get up there, line up before we get there, and make it easy on the track officials. And, it worked out really good. That dude with I think Mike Taylor's car blew his lens out of his glass. And some of these guys, I was filming live and I couldn't hang. I was up in there, and I drive one of these damn things, and there's spectators that were standing there, and I had to exit stage left, but I was choking, and I turned around, and there's still 10 or 15 people hanging in the crowd. And I'm like, man, these guys are professionals. I couldn't do it without a mask on. And you could see, I actually turned the camera and I got tears rolling down my eyes. I was giggling like a little kid, but that was a good time for sure.
And so, Brian, since it was your first time, as a fan, what was it like, the vibe at Vandermeer Speedway? Obviously, the track carved on the side of a mountain. Just give us, kind of like your thoughts on being there for the first time and just all around scenery of the track.
Yeah, it was like overwhelming. I didn't even realize that we're in the staging lanes, and I look over and there's this concrete structure. I guess we're parked on top of it. That's coming out the side of this mountain that looks like it would take this, a state budget of to build this facility. I don't know how these guys even put up with contractors enough to put this thing together. I mean, I was just looking around at the structure, let alone the facility, or let alone the actual drag strip itself. Just the structure around us was crazy. The big mountain. I didn't have any idea until first round of qualifying. We had to hike up the stairs to get back to Michael. The golf cart took off, and we got up to the top, and I turned around. I mean, you're looking at the racetrack from way up top, and I never seen a racetrack at that angle before. And I get to watch Murphy go down, and I filmed that live. It was pretty cool. And then the actual racetrack surface is something else. I've never seen a drag strip so wide in my life. I feel like you could, I mean, Jimmy in the semis was, if you were at any other track, you'd be 4 lanes over. He'd be out in the parking lot. This thing, he's still on the gas, and there's dust flying up. He's header flame still. I wish I could have brought my car there. It looked like a lot of fun. I hate being outside the car. I'm more nervous out there than just strap me in the thing and let me drive. But being on the outside of the car is pretty nerve wracking for sure.
I want to take a look at some comments real quick because we got a lot of people chiming in. Jim Moody says, "You nostalgia top fuel guys are badass. Great guys. Love following the scene." And then Dragster Jeff Kreider says, "Mike, how can I get some of those March Meet Winners posters asking for a friend?"
I've still got some. I've got to get it set up where I can actually get those things sold off, but I haven't run out yet. And there's a couple other people that have asked, and I'll put some stuff out whenever I get it all set up. We'll make that happen.
Just make them come to the drag strip and pick them up. That way you get more people in the stands.
Best way to get there, baby. You just come to my trailer. I guarantee you. Hell, you might even get one for free if you do that.
And then our boy Les Mayhew, who was out at Vandermeer Speedway, unbelievable crowd at Thunder Mountain. He's going to come out with a badass video covering all the action as well. And then my buddy Eric, he's always at the March Meet, California Hot Rod reunions, Pomona, everything like that. He says, "Thank you for keeping this show rolling." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What else we got? Kevin Rowe says, "Michael was a total rock star, signing autographs on hero cards and letting people sit in the car. He has a great representation for representative for your sport."
For sure.
So there you go. And then Nitro America says, "The Saturday warm-up was amazing. Wish I could have experienced that. That sounds badass." And then Kurt
Hey, let me tell you what was killer, Darren. Murphy pulls his car out. Like all of ours were up in the trailer. No, sir. This man been doing it a few years. He pulls his out into the crowd and fires his car up.
I don't know.
It was crazy.
Why we didn't get the memo on that, but I think we all should have done that because, man, those people were right up in it.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I believe about 6 cars showed up to this event. Kind of break down how qualifying kind of went on Friday and Saturday.
So, Friday we went out there, it's kind of like, we're running in, I'd say, Masa Mendes average about 8,000 foot of air. And, everybody's just kind of, let's go see what's going to happen. I know what Hall would have done. He'd have just put the whole damn can in his car and just said, let's rip it on down there. Cause that's just the way that goes. But there's some of us other guys that don't do that. We're like, all right, let's just go see how it goes. And, so I think first qualifying, I went down the track first, right? Yeah, or last? No, first. I went down the track first on the first. Yeah, I was the first guy down in the group, and that right there is that's Saturday. Probably that's E1 Saturday against Murphy whenever he whooped my ass out there, because he just totally did, and I've got to do some stuff on the next show that y'all will see that because I lost. But anyways, Daniel's on me about it. But Limit E1 went good. Everybody just kind of went down there and did the deal. Jimmy goes out there and I think he laid down 79. I think it was a 79. Like he was a couple hunt off of the record at that time, and then the rest of us were just kind of, there was a couple mid sixes, and hell, I just kind of ran mine down there, and I think Van Horn, he had some issues getting down there to the deal. Just little stuff, man. Like God, it's just so hard to get there and have everything just dialed in, man. It's just crazy, but Q2 went really good, man. Everybody went down there and did what they could do, and we did the whole average of the two rounds of qualifying, and that's how the extreme deal set up. To kind of keep everybody honest. Where you don't just go blaze a 59 and then you go run a couple of 80s or not even show up just because you're number one qualifier. It kind of keeps you where you got to run. We did have an optional third one at one time, but since Friday with the way that it did, we just went with the two. Everybody was good. We rocked into E1, man, and it was like, you could just, it was just a total different vibe, right? The crowd's there. This is it. We're going to go race. Like, everybody's, there, and the payout was damn good for this race, man. I mean, it pays $7,500 to win this race. And I think runner up was 4,000 and everybody else got 3,000, so it was even better than what we originally set it up for, so, once you figure all this stuff out, everybody's like, oh, let's get in here and get these cars running. And E1 was intense, man. It was good. I think there was dudes trying to make shit happen. I mean, I was, because the guys that were working on my car did all kinds of stuff, and even Hall was talking about it. He was like, dude, I don't even know if this car is going to be the same car as it was since we fixed this other. He's like, just get ready, because it could go out there and it could do what it did, or this might just take off hauling butt. So just get yourself ready on it. And but it did what it did, and Murphy took off on me, and I think he was having some fun driving out there, and they got pretty close to the center line, and then it just kind of went on. It was good. I mean, Mike and Van Horn ran, right, and then Mike and Cullinan ran.
Mike Cullen, yeah.
Yeah, Mike and Cullinan ran. I think that was a pretty good little low race, and I think Mike ran 242 miles an hour on that run.
245.
And then Jimmy and Van Horn ran. I think what did Van Horn cut, like a 022 or 024 light or something like that?
Yeah. So we had some contingency stuff, and I walk in the staging lanes, and I'm like, how are we going to give this stuff out? It's first round. I better tell the guys ahead of time. We had some Taylor Motorsports gift cards, and I think even Van Horn was offering up some gift cards. I think quickest first round loser was Tim Cullinan. So Van Horn's going to be mailing him a gift card, and I said, hey, reaction time first round, gets this Taylor gift card. And Van Horn, I think, took it to heart, and he cut an 026 light on Jimmy. and Jimmy goes out and has to pedal it, and I had no idea. We're standing behind, and it just looked like Sean let off the gas, and we get back up there, and he's like, man, I saw a lot of Sean's car. I go, what do you mean? He goes, oh, he had a 26 light against me. I'm like, oh, I guess he was going for that gift card, And he goes, then I had to pedal, and he said, I saw all of his car. And then when he gathered it back up, he got to go around him. But it probably looked pretty exciting from the stands. Yep, there it is. Right there.
That's it.
Yeah, I see 330. Sean Van Horn is technically ahead, right at the 330 mark.
Yep, if we're racing to 330. Sean got that one for sure.
And so I actually have the first round results right here. So like we just saw, Jim Young, Sean Van Horn. Jim Young gets the win, 598, 239 to Van Horn's 933 at 81 miles per hour. Then Jim Murphy takes out our boy Michael Anderson in the first round. Jim Murphy goes 625 at 201 to Mike Anderson's 989 at 79 miles per hour. And then Mike Taylor, who made it to the final round, goes 622 at 245, takes down Tim Cullinan, who goes 628, 203. So like you said, a great drag race right there. How cool was it to see Tim Cullinan back behind the wheel of a rear engine top fuel dragster here this weekend?
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. Like he's like, the epitome of somebody from Chicago talking to him, like this Irish dude that's just, hey, yeah, we're out here, and, I feel like we just need to just have a beer, yeah, that kind of deal. But, great group of dudes there. His son's super cool, Timmy. Big shout out to those guys for showing up and making it happen. I know he was out there slinging a whole lot of fuel around. And yeah, I mean, he was giving it hell. I mean, he was giving it hell. He would definitely choke you out whenever you was over there. Whenever he was warming up to fire up, you knew he was fired up. But yeah, we'll definitely see him some more this year. I know he's gonna catch a couple more races, and then they'll also be running that Irish car bomb funny car a few times. So I think that his boy is going to be end up getting in that, running a little bit. But yeah, man, super cool guy, man. Like he's just laid back, just doing his thing. And then he walked up and was like, hey, I'm getting out of here. I'm going back to Chicago. I was like, all right, we'll see you at the next one.
That's
I have to
awesome.
say that Jim Murphy's first round run was from a fan. I'm a fan of Jim Murphy, and this dude was driving the wheels off that car. You know, I don't even know how old he is. He's creeping up on 80 years old, and this dude was wheeling this thing like as good as anybody could have. You know, when we got to the top end, he got out of the car, and I said, "Man, I'll still pick you over anybody to drive anything." The dude still got it, you know, and it was just impressive to see him just hanging it out, trying to win races, you know, and then I think he's been doing it a long time, and
Yeah, he ain't gonna let off that gas unless it's just really bad, like bad. Like he might have to be up on top of you.
but he kept it under control. He kept it on two wheels and got the win, and
Yeah.
I was excited for him. You know, they've been having some clutch issues and some stuff, and I hopefully they're on the right track to start winning some more races. I'd like to see Jim Murphy start kicking some ass again, and I'd like to see him do good. All these guys are my friends. Hard not to root for all of them, you know, up there, especially with the Extreme Top Fuel group. You know, it's unfortunate these guys are so far away, and I live in California. If I could, I would ship my stuff back there and leave it at somebody's house and go racing with those guys. I had a blast. Everybody kind of seems to be on the same page. They're all, they all understand what we're doing there. You know, we're trying to put on a show, and we're also trying to beat each other. You know, so there's some good mutual respect between all the crews. Everybody's willing to help. I mean, we got stuff out of Anderson's car. It's just kind of felt like family until you get to the starting line. Then we all want to cut each other's throats off. But yeah, I wished I could go run with those guys more, or at least one time. Fortunately, I don't think Jimmy's coming out here anytime soon, and I don't think I'm going out there, but I want to line up against him bad.
Will you be making the trip to Tulsa maybe this year, like last year, or no? You probably gonna stay.
I won't be. I've been told no, so I'm gonna stick to the normal 3: Bakersfield, Boise, back to Bakersfield's kind of what our baseline was. Unfortunately, with the Bowling Green thing this year, I could probably put enough pressure on our car owners to let us go to Bowling Green and maybe run the whole series one time, but it all is based on what happens at the March meet, and being that didn't happen, or we didn't finish it. I go runner up or win at the March meet, I'm gonna put some pressure on my car owners to, or maybe even flip some money to the tow bill to try to make it. I'd like to run for the whole championship at least once, and they're not getting any younger, and I don't know how much longer they're going to want to do this, and I'd like to give that a shot once. So this year for me, unfortunately, Bowling Green's out, and if I'm not going to Bowling Green, I'm not going to Tulsa. I like Tulsa. We had a great time that year. That was kind of a once in a lifetime chance. They paid for our flights and paid a truck driver to drive our stuff out. I'm just a regular working dude. I don't have much time off of work, so I can't travel all the way around the country and do this every. I might get one chance at it, and I better make it count when that happens. But for me, we're West Coast people. That's our thing. We're kind of like McGee does it. They just stick out here and head down, focus on a couple races, and then I do other stuff. We're 100% drag racing all the time. It's not my thing. It's not my profession. It's a hobby. I like to go golfing. I like to hang out with my kids. So there's only so many vacation days in a year, and one of these days I'll do the whole circuit. This year is not going to be it.
I got you. So let's now move into semifinals. I don't have semifinal results because I didn't get to see them on Extreme Top Fuel's page on Facebook, and I couldn't get the run sheets. But there was a very magical moment in the semifinals. A track record was broken. Jim Young goes 574. The previous track record, I believe, was a 578 by our man Dusty Green. Let's take a look at that video right now. Hopefully, I click on the right video. So cross your fingers.
for 234 miles an hour. Goddamn, Jimmy. Pulling in left way early, and no time. He left before the tree activated.
How about that? How
That
about
was
that?
freaking badass, man. Yeah. When we pulled up, I asked them, did they spray the track? And they said, you guys want us to spray it? And I was like, yeah, I think Jimmy's going to go for a track record right now. And they're like, oh, really? And then the traction guy came back and said, I don't need to be sprayed. Okay, sure. Well, let's pull up there. And yeah, he was out in the dust, still on the gas, and he was off the gas. He didn't take it to the stripe, and it's still mile an hour's down, but he still set the track record. I was guessing it was going to be in the 60s originally, and then some of his crew guys said, "Nah, we're not trying to go that fast." And so I changed my prediction to about a 72, and he almost got there. It was badass.
Michael, what was it like for you witnessing that 574 in person up on the mountain, Thunder Mountain? That is.
He was strapped.
So what was cool is like my car was parked kind of crooked, so I could actually see down the track whenever it happened. And there's a couple of moments about this that was super badass. One, you kind of had to know what was going on about that track record, right? Like most of all of us knew, what it was, and because we've had some discussions, even with Dusty Green about that deal, because he was like, man, I set that thing, had a great time. I'd love to keep it, but it'd be cool to see somebody, smoke it down or whatever, blah, blah. And so whenever you're watching and you know what he ran, whenever he ran the 79 and where the car was, so you're sitting there thinking in your mind, like, it's going to happen, man. Like, because we're all talking, like what percentage are you running? Where are you at? This is what I'm going to do to get it to do this. And that's what's really cool about this. It was, everybody kind of, like rooting the guy on to get this done, because you want to be a part of it. One, it's the first and last time that this group's going to be there, and then you want to watch, you want to watch any kind of record run that can go on. But I'm in the car, like going like this. And then I had to tell myself to stop, because I had done set my damn parachutes off, slinging my damn hands around in it beforehand. So I just had to sit down in the car. It was like, so I'm watching, they do that. And I'm getting staged up to get fired up, and Bryan knows what I'm talking about, because he yelled at me about it. And the return road came right in front of the fans. Like, I mean, you came right in front of the fans, man. Like, they announced, hey, track record for front motor top fuel, blah 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 blah. Jimmy's outside of his car, dude. And like, the sound off that mountain is just crazy whenever everybody starts yelling. You could hear everybody yelling and everything. I was like, it don't get no better than this, man. Like, it just doesn't get any better than this. It was cool to watch, and it was a really cool plan to see come together to go, and it was one hell of a run. You go try to run these cars and the limitations, and we keep it to the same stuff: blower overdrive, cubic inch, fuel pump size, all that stuff is still the same as anything that's going on in the Heritage deal. So it wasn't like we went up there and said, hey, we're going to go race an 8,000 foot and y'all can turn the blower 60 over. And still, it was 14.99%, the whole whatever bubble, 20-gallon pump, everything that we run. So to watch that happen, it was pretty damn amazing, and watch these guys go, oh, he's going to run a 72, or he's going to run a 74 or 76, whatever the hell it is. I mean, it's amazing what goes on with that. It was super cool to watch.
Legendary, man. And so, like I mentioned earlier, you got it, Bryan.
I want to back this story up a little bit. So, first run of Saturday, which is E2, we go up there and Michael does a burnout and comes back and he's giving me these hand signals. I think it was this, which means to me the thing's blown up. And I'm looking at him like he's crazy. He's making all these hand gestures, and finally I just shut him off. And we go up there, and somebody left a fuel line loose, which is, we're all kind of not on. This isn't the normal crew, so stuff like that happens sometimes. We go up there and we back him off the track, and Michael's in the car, and he's like, "I want to run." I'm like, really? You still want to run the car? We didn't bring any extra fuel with us. Oh well, all right. Let me go ask. I think it was Sporty. Yeah. Hey, Sporty, we want to run the car. And he's like, hey, man, hurry it up, because, there's other cars in the lanes. There's rain coming and all this stuff. And we're like, all right. So everybody gets their runs down, and they me and James were getting ready to fire the car, and ever since that thing that happened at Boise where Benjamin exploded the thing and hurt his crew guy real bad, I'm real nervous to fire a car without pulling the plugs and spinning the motor over and getting all the fuel out of the cylinders. To me, backing it down is just not enough anymore. So I looked at James and I said, "Are you comfortable firing this thing, just backing it down? Because if you do it, I'll do it. But I'm going to be all as far away from it as I can." He kind of gave me the look like he wasn't going to do it. So I ran over to Sporty and I said, "Hey man, just for safety reasons, can you give us, it's going to be 5 minutes." And he said, and I reminded him of the Boise thing. And he's like, "Take as much time as you want. I just want you guys to be safe." I said, "Okay." We go back up there and Michael's got one spark plug wrench. So it's taken forever. Everybody's taking the plugs out one at a time, and it's kind of going slow. I'm trying to help the guys hurry them up. They're just not, up to speed quite yet. And I thought I left this it's a total shit show. I think I left the squirt bottle on the starting line. So I go, "Oh, where's the squirt bottle?" Brian Fox on the other side of the motor. He said, "Oh, it's right here." It goes into the back of the truck to get it. Well, at the same time, James is trying to hand him a spark plug wrench. Michael's freaking out. "Hurry your ass up!" And he's waving his hands, and boop, out comes the parachute. Plop right on the ground. The whole crowd went, "Oh!" I felt about this big, and I reached around and said, "Hey, Michael, you just popped the parachute out. You might want to be waving your hands around like that anymore. We got all the time we need. I'm going to pack your parachute. Just relax." Even burnout, I'm doing this. Calm your ass down. It's going to be fun. Let's do what we want. Then for that to have happened at noon, and the next time we go to the starting line is 6 p.m. And I go up there, we roll through with Jimmy. I'm actually helping Jimmy start his car, and we walk through under the tower, and I look up in these stands, and Q2 wasn't really that big of a deal. There's a lot of people laughing at us, but E1, I look over, and this place, I look like you're in a 50-yard line at a college football game. I'd never seen so many people in the stands with me standing on the starting line before. It looked big show packed. And they had a 45-minute lead up to us running our cars. There was color guard. There was prayers by John Vandermeer, right?
Yep.
Is that who gave the prayer? Yeah. And there was a live national anthem. There was guys parachuting in with giant American flags like War Hero Army Rangers and, guys, they had a real big introduction. And I'm standing there with a squirt bottle in my hand thinking like, oh, man, we could look like the biggest idiots right now. And I looked at Jimmy and I said, "You ever seen anything like this?" And he said, "I've never been more nervous in my entire life." And I said, "Me either." And at that point, we had all gotten all that crap out of the way. But, man, I was filming it live, and my hand, I don't know, you probably see it, my hand started shaking. It was kind of a lot to do to, it's my dumb ass is standing down there, and we're all just a bunch of, to me, it's our little thing, nobody's watching, and then to have all these people just staring down. I mean, not just staring, but literally staring down at you. They're like, "All right, fire them up." And just, please, dear God, let this thing start. And then I can get out of the way. And it all ended up working out great. But, man, talk about nerve-wracking. I don't know how football players or basketball players do this stuff on TV under all that pressure. Because all I had to do was squirt fuel and push a button, and I was freaking out.
So Jimmy Young said it was nerve-wracking? Because he's so ice cold. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I could see it in his eyes, and I just put my head in, and I said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" He says, I'm so nervous right now, and at least he gets to wear a helmet. Nobody knows it when you're in a helmet, but yeah, he was pretty nervous. It was, in reality, it was really, really awesome for us to be, our dumbasses to be the center of attention, like that. We were the coolest people. Everybody in the stands wants to be that guy sitting in that car going down that track at that moment. It's a pretty cool feeling. And I'm glad it all really worked out in the end, because it wasn't feeling like it was gonna there for a second.
Nah, that's awesome to see you guys on the big stage. Because like you said, Vandermeer is technically the big stage. And like you said, the way the grandstand sit, I've only been there. I've only seen it on TV. So can't wait to get there in a couple months. But like you said, that grandstand is so high, and they look down at the racetrack. And obviously, I've never driven a race car, but I've played some pretty high level sports, basketball, weightlifting, and in front of big crowds. So I love performing in front of people. So it's kind of cool that you guys experienced that and stuff like that. You actually have a video of the national anthem. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
So scary. I don't know how much longer I can hold that.
Yo, that's awesome. That is
Yes,
awesome.
that's
You
the
get the
moment I
chills?
was talking about right there. I was filming it live and just walk over to fire Jimmy's car shortly after that was pretty nervous. And it was quite the build up to first round.
It gives you the chills though, right? I get the chills just watching that. And the most amazing thing though is when that last line of the national anthem and the guy hits the racetrack and they go fire him up and you hear nitro cars in the background. That's the best thing ever. Love that.
I got goosebumps right now just thinking about that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think
awesome.
that's part of the reason we do this is for that, those moments and and winning races.
Yeah. I'll tell you another cool part too was, John Vandermeer, after all that was done, whenever we were sitting in the staging lanes, I mean, he come out there and shook everybody's hand, told everybody, hey, I appreciate y'all coming out to make this event. Just super cool to be able to have guys like that come and talk to you at the race and tell you, hey man, tell you that they appreciate you coming to be a part of their event, and supporting what you do. Cause, these guys, they need to know what it takes for us to get there and what goes on for these cars to run down that track. And you can tell in that man's, handshake that he really did appreciate everybody being at that race.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Let's get back to a little bit of the race action now. Like we mentioned, Jimmy Young with the track record 574, making it to the final round. Our boy Mike Taylor, like I said, beat Tim Cullen in the first round. So I'm guessing he raced Jim Murphy in the second round. Kind of tell us how that kind of went down. Like I said, I don't have the results. How did that run go in E2 semifinals?
So second round, Mike Taylor goes up there and goes 591, I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a 426 car with direct drive, which supposedly can't be done. Everybody, the rumor has it is you got to have a 2-speed to make a 426 work, and apparently not, because he was the only other car to run in the fives, I think, all weekend, and he was off the gas early. I know they had a couple things with some spark plugs where they were trying out some different spark plugs, and apparently it worked. And the car hauled ass, and Jim Murphy was he's right there with him, got a little loose in the middle, I think Taylor had him pretty much covered all the way down. It was a fun race to watch. There's some good header flames, and Taylor shooting sparklers out of the right side of the motor and jamming. I was pretty pumped for those guys to run a 91 up on that mountain. That's pretty impressive. If I would have brought my car there, that's what I would have been shooting for, was 90 flat. I think it's about the best I could have ever got up out there, and for them to do that, I was pretty impressed. I really like that car with all the magnesium on it. It's a good looking car, and to have him lined up against Murphy, that's actually Murphy's old green car. So to see those two cars side by side going down the track, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that was when you go back and watch your video, you kind of were talking to a guy afterwards, and I think that was like the most major thing that happened is whenever Murphy got loose, he hit a little pumpkin out there, gathered it up, went on down, finished the race, and that was literally probably the wildest thing, or I guess you could say the worst thing out of all the cars running was even that happening right there, which was a really successful weekend to have that go on.
Yeah, we made I didn't make any runs, but there was 26 runs down the racetrack, not a drop of not a drop of oil on the track. The only thing that was just Murphy hit that one cone, and that's saying a lot for this group. We got a bad rap in the past as being the leakers, and I don't really see it. It's been the last couple of years we haven't had too much stuff, and Jimmy's oil pump, the drain plug cracked all the way around and fell off, and his containment. I mean, every drop of oil was in his belly pan, and he didn't get a drop of oil on the racetrack. So, wow. Whatever we're doing and whatever strides we're making to make things better is definitely working. it was a great weekend. Just I think hopefully they were happy with us and what we did as a group, and trying to be on time and trying not to damage anything on the racetrack or make the stands or the fans sit in the stands watching a tractor drag. I think we did pretty good.
With you saying that, and the performance you guys are putting on, like you said, not getting oil on the track, and only one guy hit a cone all weekend. The performances that you guys are putting on, and obviously the fans are loving it. Do you think this could lead into something where you guys are racing at Pomona or Indy or some of these bigger tracks in front of the big crowds? I mean, that's a possibility. I'm just saying.
I think if it's a possibility to do it maybe once or twice, I don't think we should small fish in a big pond it. I can appreciate what the funny car guys are doing. I don't think I don't really know if it's a great idea. I'd rather not go out there and look like slow dragsters, because those big show cars are so fast and they're all ready to see them. And, you get so used to seeing cars run 300 miles an hour. You get us out there, it look kind of silly. So for me, I think the smaller tracks, like, even though Bandimere isn't a smaller track, but they got the crowd. So I'm in for that. But, you go to, like I said, you go to Sears Point or Infineon or whatever they call it now, Sonoma. And, you could put 8,000 people there and it's not going to look like anybody's there. So I think smaller tracks is where it's at. And then, unless we have an established event that, like some of, Martin, I guess that's a big deal, or that Route 66 thing that Jimmy's talking about doing later in the year. I guess they haul a bunch of people in there. And, if there's a bunch of big show cars, I don't know that we should be running our cars after them, because then we look like Super Comp or, junior dragster compared to that. So I'd rather be the big fish in the small pond, to be honest with you.
I got you. Sean Van Horn says, "We're the kings of the sport. We don't need to race big show." There you go.
That's right.
That
now
guy.
we just beer sponsor for our new name, Beer League or whatever. Just hopefully it's not Bud Light.
That's good.
Hell, he went to the Coors factory and went and got fresh brewed Coors banquet beer, to have at the damn race, man. It was crazy.
Morning, and it was tasty.
But I'm going to tell you this right now, Darren. Don't count out 2024 having something that might just grab you by the ears and say, "Come on." Don't count it out. It could happen, and I guarantee you, if what we're trying to make happens, it's a hell of a big enough deal that all these boys are going to be there. It'll be a good one for sure.
I got you. So before we get into the final round, Kevin Rowe has a question. Have Michael tell you what he not a question, but have Michael tell you what he did coming down the pro return road in front of the crowd. It was awesome. So what is he talking about there, Michael?
So, man, at the end of whenever, we ran, and I ran Van Horn, the last deal, we just lined up, last group or group to go run. And it was just, we're trying to put on a show and have runs, just keeping everything going. Plus we want to run our car, right? We ran a long way. So anyways, me and Van Horn just went to go run, put on a show for the crowd. And at the end, we're down there, hooping and hollering, man, like, "Hey, man, we made it. Everything's still good. Nothing's burnt up. Nothing's tore up too bad." And he gives me one of them Coors banquet beers, right? And I started drinking it, and then we pile up, and we're going down the return road. And I'm kind of sitting there, and I'm waving at the crowd. We kind of get down towards the end, man. And I kind of get up out of the car, and I get that beer and hold it up towards the crowd, dude. The crowd's like, "Whoa!" Just starts. Oh, and it was. There's a guy that got a picture of it, and I, whether he's watching the show or if anybody knows him, and I think it's the guy that actually was taking pictures for the track. But like, we're stopped, and I'm pointing at the crowd like this with a Coors banquet in my deal, and he takes a picture up, and I sure hope I can get my hands on that one, because it's going on the wall for damn sure.
That's awesome. All right, let's now get into this final round. Jim Young, Mike Taylor, final round at the Napa Auto Parts Night of Fire and Thunder at Bandimere Speedway.
590, 233. Jimmy Young gets the win.
Header flames high in the sky, ends off the night. 590, 233. What a way to end it, Bryan.
Yeah, I fortunately got to be on the start line to watch that all go down. Taylor had some issues, man. I don't know what was going on. We actually went over there and helped polish on the crankshaft right before that. We were kind of we didn't have nothing to do. Michael's car's half loaded up, and so we were running around seeing if anybody needed anything at that point. And Taylor had a couple bearing problems, and I don't know if he's got a cracked crankshaft or what's going on, but he goes to do the burnout, and the thing just wouldn't even RPM at all. And we're like, oh no. I was hoping to see them go down side by side, but that didn't happen. He got his car together and got to the starting line at least, so that was good. So we got to run a final round, and then Jimmy just goes down and lays down another one. 12:50 at night or something. There's not even anybody in the stands, but we're running a final, and it was awesome. We get to go up to the top end and got an interview with him, or I got to watch Les interview him, so we get to see what that's like later. And yeah, it was fun. And then he has to come home and load his car straight in the trailer and drive 17 hours home or something crazy. And I was trying to talk to him on the way there to keep him awake. I'm landing from an airplane. He's still in the middle of Iowa or something. And I was kind of worried about him there for a minute. It's a long day, a long night, and then just get in the truck and drive. But this dude is he's getting after it. This is his event, and he does it right. And puts his money where his mouth is, and he'll do whatever it takes to help everybody in his circle of friends to get to the starting line. And I was impressed. That's the first time I've been to one of his races, and I'm liking what he's doing, and it was a great time.
Michael, for you, the other Mike Taylor, who makes it to the final round. Correct me if I'm wrong. He went to the final as well. I believe it was Martin, Michigan last year, and he lost to Jim Young in the final. Mike Taylor running real well. He has a win waiting to happen, I would say.
Yeah, no, he's definitely getting that car dialed in. I guarantee you, if he could run probably 2 or 3 more races in a year, than what he's able to do. He's a guy that has I won't say an 8 to 5, but just in layman's terms, an 8 to 5 job. I think he always says, I cash checks, I don't write them. So he does what he can. And but if that guy could get out there and really campaign that car and be able to run on a regular, that's a 570 car all day long, man, in good air. Hell, in decent air, versus what he does. We know it can run. I think at Martin, he ran in the 80s. So, he's definitely a guy that's he's intense about this racing. Everybody just, they can only do what they can do, and hats off to him for what he's going to be able to do. And I will probably see him at Norwalk in Martin, Michigan. So he'll have a lot of racing to do. Probably by the time he gets to Martin, Michigan, he'll have some shit dialed in. As long as he gets them crankshafts, I think he was going to get on it already, man. He's going to get on it already. But great dude, man. Just loves this racing. He just loves it. He just absolutely 110% loves it. And he had a little help getting to the race, and I won't tell you because I've done it myself, but he made it. He made it to it, and he was solid, man. All those guys, all of them. But yeah, Taylor's right there, man. He's like Bryan. They're all right there, like just a hair bit of luck, man. And they're going to be in the winner's circle.
Well, I got a little bit of luck against him in Tulsa, so I think me and him lined up, and he had some bad luck against me, and I thought for sure, my car shut off, I guess, right after his, and I fully expected to see him come driving around me, but it didn't happen. So unfortunately, we're racing each other at that point, but I think me and him are getting pretty close to, him on his side, me on my side, getting pretty close to getting it to where we're feeling comfortable and not having to change motors or, beating sleeves out of the thing. I'm hoping that we can all get to the point where we're not torching pistons off the rod. That's it's going to make for a short-lived experience. Michael's starting to understand what it takes to do this. When you start, pushing real hard and doing it, sometimes you just, it makes you feel crazy. Like, what are we even doing this for? And it makes you kind of want to step back. And then, Michael invites me to one race, and then I'm fully back in. It's just like being a full-blown drug addict. Now Jimmy too, sometimes he'll talk about, and kind of wanting to take a break and do something else. It's hard to put on these events and get everybody to show up, and you're sticking your neck on the line with these track owners, and you're bringing 8 cars, and then a couple people kind of flake the last second, and then it's like, oh God, and you're stressing, and it feels like the whole world's on top of you. But when the car runs good and all 8 pistons are in it, and you going 260 at 570, it pulls you right back in.
It's like making a birdie, man. That's all. You make one birdie in a round of golf, and all of a sudden everybody wants to be Tiger Woods. Don't mind the other 94 strokes I had. I got a birdie. I'm about to make it right now.
Going on tour.
And so, Michael, with Jimmy Young winning this race, obviously he is the points leader for Extreme Top Fuel. The point system is it 20 points per round? That's how we're doing it this year.
Yeah, it'll be the structure exactly the same. That's one thing about the Heritage deal that's definitely a solid. Their point structure is super simple, and it's good. I mean, you don't need to reinvent the wheel on some stuff, and that's definitely not anything that needs to be messed with. And we'll get a bunch of that stuff put out. I think everybody trying to get everything done to get to that race. I know that whenever I got home on Sunday, and I think I got home almost 1 a.m. I slept about 16 hours the next day. Like, wow. I got up twice to eat, and that was about it, kind of deal. And even Tuesday, man, it's just such a mental drain on you. The racing part, is a short, just say, the whole deal, a couple of minutes. It's the mental strain of everything else. And if I didn't have the guys that were there with me at that race, I probably would have took that car and wadded it up, stuck it in the trash can, left the trailer, and drove my happy ass back home in James's truck and been like, I'm good, man. But that's what's cool about all these dudes. They're just like, Michael, we got it. I might come over there once in a while, but most of the time, Bryan's telling me, please get out of the pit, dude. Just go on over there. We got all this kind of handled up, or, go clean a part. I mean, then you have something that goes right, or you find a problem and it fixes something, and your wheels get back going, and then you're on to the next one. I mean, you just keep pumping. I mean, that's what they call that needle, man. You fire it up and it sounds good, and everybody's like, you see the smile on their face, like, oh, here we go. I mean, everybody was always already calling numbers on stuff, like, like, I said, I just want to get down the damn track, man. That's all I want to do. It's fun. It's ridiculously fun. That's the problem. And great, just, dude, I don't know. We probably had, at one time, we were jerking a sleeve out of that block, and the block's kind of tight, and just stuff that we got to work on. And I mean, I think I saw 4 different dudes whooping that sleeve out of that damn block, man. And Jimmy's over there sweating, and I think Bryan and another Bryan, and I don't even know who else was whooping it. I mean, I didn't even start sweating from it. They were just on it, like, we're going to get this car back put together. And I mean, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. I mean, it just you get a feeling like, it's like, people really like this. They really love it. They love being around it. They want to see something be successful, because, if we don't have successful cars, then we don't have a successful group. And it was fun to be around that.
Yeah, there was either six current or retired Top Fuel drivers during that time when we were working on the motor. I think Les figured that out. He said, driver, ex-driver. He's like, there's 6 drivers working on Michael's engine right now, whether they be current or retired. And it's just kind of funny that sometimes we put Michael to the side. He gets a little flared up when some stuff doesn't go right, and I just have to put my hand on his shoulder and push him away. We just figure it out. We'll move on.
There ain't no doubt. If we can't find a 9/16 wrench, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll tear the whole damn pit apart over that 9/16. I'll tear a whole motor apart and not even have a problem with it. We lose a 9/16 wrench, I'm up here. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Les has got some video that's probably not any kind of video that's ever been in any of his Nitro America, other movies that he's got, man. It's going to be awesome. I think it's just going to be real down to earth, like just right in your face kind of video that's going to come out.
Nah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Like we all know, Les Mayhew, he is the man, and he puts out the best freaking videos out there, especially for front engine top fuel dragsters. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we come back. We're gonna wrap up the show. So we'll be right back, everybody. Man, Scotty Cannon was the man back in the day. Pro mod, nitro funny car.
I was just going to say, Michael Anderson needs some of them Scotty Cannon glasses to wear at the track. I mean, I got
still get those.
We can put that on.
I'm not that bad yet.
Keep running a nitro car, you will be.
Michael, I don't ever think I've ever seen you without a hat before. That's the first.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. Like funerals and weddings, that's about it. And I'm not much on going to funerals or weddings, so you don't see it very often.
Kurt Borden had a great comment. I'm trying to find it real quick.
And we needed Kurt there, man. We needed our GoPro guy, man. Yeah, really there ain't no doubt.
Right here. He says, these are the personal stories we all love to hear. And I'll tell you what, Michael, Bryan, you guys, really shared some great stories, some great personal stories from this past weekend. And so I'm going to ask you one more before you get out of here. Bryan came out to wrench on your car this weekend. Michael, how did this kind of, friendship kind of start between you two?
I think we've probably a long time ago, we kind of talked about this on the show, but I really didn't know Bryan, and even probably knew a little bit of him with the Tramp, you see it or whatever. And then, whenever he got the Nomad car, you're kind of watching the Top Fuel stuff, but really it came over a set of valve covers, a small block, a set of gold Moroso valve covers that, anodized valve covers that were hard to find. And he had reached out to me and, sent me a message. Hey man, it's super cool that at that time I had that little black small block car. But I think that he kind of knew that I was building another car. But he was like, it's kind of cool that you're getting it done. We're looking forward to you coming racing with us. And that, we just kind of started talking back and forth. And then he showed me like a picture of an Alter he was selling. And I was like, dude, I need those valve covers because those are the same valve covers that was on my dad's car. And they're hard to freaking find, man. And so I showed up at the Hot Rod Reunion 2 years ago, wrenching on Murray's car, and he walks up and he goes, hey, man, what's up? And I was like, oh, not much. He goes, hey, I got them valve covers for you. And that was it. We've been buddies since, man. Hell, he's been to my house. He's been to Texas, been to St. Louis. I mean, there's a good chance me and him probably hanging out in the pits, giving somebody shit or each other shit, about something. So, I mean, it was just simple things. And then, whenever you got people that are pretty like-minded about stuff and love drag racing, kind of works out. And, I mean, he kind of knows what he's talking about. I mean, his car, it runs decent. It runs 620s, 630s, stuff like that. So, dude I wanted to hang out with.
Good 6.0 car. I should run that 590 class, really what I should do. Yeah, but at first, we get a lot of people, when you race long enough, you start getting messages from some people, just people you don't know that just, that's how I met Shane too. I'm driving a tractor one day going down the road, Shane Stewart, and this crazy Australian guy calls me on the phone, just out of nowhere, just calls me about some Titan oil pump thing that I had going on. And he's like, hey, look at this and look at that. And hey, mate. And I'm just like, what the hell? Next thing you know, we're really good friends. And kind of the same thing with Michael, just message back and forth. There's a lot of people over the years that have said, I'm building this and I'm building that. And you kind of don't take them seriously, So when I see somebody that's going for it, that's really doing it, like the rest of us who are really doing it, I'm like, oh, this guy's serious. And if there's somebody that's going to go, through all that to buy another car just to go get licensed, I'm like, oh, this guy's going to show up and race with us. So we need to we need to talk to this guy because, there's a lot of cars that, you see pictures of and they don't materialize and that kind of stuff. So once they get to the point, somebody gets to the point where they're going to start racing with us for real, we're open arms. Come on in. This is the circle you need to be in, and these are all our contacts. And if we can help the guy get to the track, I think it's kind of a group effort to get him there. And I think that kind of happened with Michael. He initially was talking with Brendan, and then he came to the track and was helping Brendan. And then once we realized, hey, well, he's seriously going to build a car, then all of a sudden his phone starts ringing. You got, Rick McGee's calling him, and I'm calling him, and everybody's calling him, like, if you need help or if there's anything you need, we're more than willing to open our logbooks and show them whatever. We just want more people to come race with us, because misery loves company.
Hey man, I gotta talk about that too. Is that it took all these guys for this motor and this combination to even get stuck in the dang car, man. You're sitting there and you don't have any parts, or you're waiting on parts, and this guy's like, hey, I got this. This guy's like, I got this. I mean, there's so many parts that other people own in that car. I had to start writing it down. Like it was bad. Like I was like, dude, y'all be sure and keep up with what y'all have gave me, because I've got so much stuff going on. I mean, they could probably bullshit me and I'd just send it to them anyway, because I wouldn't even remember if it happened or not. But all the guys that helped, Rick McGee, Bryan, Jimmy, everybody that came in and, sent me parts and, tried to make, I can't thank them enough, man. Just guys that came and helped, build stuff. My guy, James Harrell, around the corner, I got to tell him, hope your mom gets better. She's in the hospital right now, man. Like, it's, if it's not for those guys, you can't get it done. It's almost impossible. We got home and, it's so funny. Like we get home and he sends me a message. He's like, hey dude, blah, blah. And, are you really taking a break? He's just razzing my ass about stuff. And I send him a picture, and it's a big box of connecting rods that showed up the day after I got back home. What am I doing? I'm over in Jimmy's, stealing all his rods out of his trailer to run my car. Stuff like that. So it's the craziest stuff that goes on with this. Just to try to get to the race, not be competitive, just be there and let your car start. Is that much stuff going on? So I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I gotta give another shout out to Bryan Fox, man, my chassis guy. It's his birthday tonight. He's King Chassis. Y'all go check him out. He built some bad hot rods, and he's probably having a Bud Select right now. So, but man, I can't say enough about all these guys and what they've done for me in this racing. Can't say enough. They take time away from their families, and Brian's got 2 daughters, and his wife that probably knows that we're pretty crazy whenever we hang out together, and let him take off, and didn't get into his butt too bad about anything. He showed back up, and I can't think. God dang, man. Tyler Hester, man. I don't think he was gone 24 hours, and he was already, man, I miss my wife and my kid. That's all brand new stuff, and but the dude's had a great time, and I was like, dude, this is an experience that you'll never get back. Like, this is a one and done. Like, it's not happening again here, and I'm glad all those dudes got to be a part of it for sure.
Awesome. I've been saying it for a long time. We're currently in the good old days right now, and some people don't even know it. You get to the track, and it's everybody gets real serious, and sometimes there's some frowny faces, and some people are real intense. But if you really step back and think about it, and not too long, you're going to be wishing you were right back in that same exact spot. So I'm just grateful to be a part of, any of this stuff. You never know how long it's going to last. You never know how long you're going to be around. And it's awesome to go racing with your friends.
Darren, did you get that picture of the winner circle with everybody in it?
Yeah, I played it. I showed it at the beginning of the show. Let me pop it up right here again real quick. Find it. Right here.
That is a phenomenal picture right there. I want to tell you, like, everybody that's in that picture was a part of that deal. You can look on one side, there's Sporty, the other side, there's McGee and Van Horn and Bryan. Jim Murphy's in there. These pictures right here that and this stuff that happens, this is no different than a picture you see from 1968 right there. That's the same story that's going to be told in another 40 years. You remember that one time when we was at the track at Vandermeer, man? It was really cool to see everybody come down there and do that. I would love to see this happen more at every other race. absolutely love the show that the group is all there supporting whoever has won the race.
Yeah, that's a great looking picture right there. Awesome. Real quick. Kurt Borden, happy birthday. Brian Fox, happy birthday. I want to play that real quick. Also, Larry Gotcha says, another great show, you guys. I really do appreciate that. And sorry, I just got flustered a little bit. My bad. had some going on behind the scenes, but I'm good. I'm back. Before we get out of here,
you were watching Game 4 of the Lakers and Nuggets. Oh, that was
don't
do
that.
Don't
do that.
Sorry about you.
Oh my God, that's rough, Brian. That's rough.
Hey, they did better than my Kings. That's I gave it to them.
Hey, when LeBron went up for that last shot and Jamal Murray got his hands on the ball and that time went off and they started cheering on our home floor, that hurt. That hurt.
I watched it. It was hurting me, and I'm not even a Laker fan.
hey, Laker Nation. That's all I got to say. Laker Nation, baby. Laker Nation.
Keep that stuff down there. It's fine.
Hey, try to be a Cowboys fan. Yeah, that's a tough one right there, boys. I want to let you know.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here, guys? Any final thoughts? Let's start with you, Brian. Any final thoughts?
No, man. I'm just looking forward to the rest of the year. Wishing I could go race with Jimmy's group a little bit. So I had such a great time. Looking forward to Boise. Unfortunately, Bowling Green I'm not going to make. I'm interested to see who shows up down there. And I know they wanted 16 cars. And unfortunately, I think to get 16 cars there, they're going to need the support of the Extreme Top Fuel Group. I don't know if they got it yet, but I don't know if they will. Hopefully they do sometime. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I hope they get a decent car count down there so we can keep those guys happy with us. Wished I could add to that lineup of cars. Not in the cards for me, but looking forward to Boise. It's always my birthday weekend down there. And hoping we get at least win a couple rounds this year and maybe get a win. I'm ready. I'm aching. And if not, I'm going to go run some my alcohol car somewhere and get my butt whooped in that too.
Any final thoughts, Michael?
I did. I can't thank the fans. There, always got a body, that dude. Tell them to keep watching the show. I can't thank the fans enough. I can't thank the fans that showed up to that race to support the race, the Bandamiers, us, the crew that was there was freaking phenomenal. Everybody was smiling, like coming up, shaking your hand, just like, a lot of those dudes hadn't been around cars like that, man. And they were just like, this is like crazy. And can't thank, those people enough that came out there to support that race and what went on. And the Bandamiers for putting it on and Kevin Rove for introducing us to the Bandamiers to be able to do that. It was super cool. God dang, man, just, I'm looking forward to the rest of this year, moving forward. I 110%, support that the Wally Parks Hot Rod Reunion Bowling Green race. Love that place. It is what it is on where I'm trying to be at. It has nothing to do with anything else other than I want my car to be competitive. That's, I don't want to go and play anymore. That is bottom line. And I possibly want to be in Costa Rica too. So, that could be another big deal. I do have a 16-year-old son I like to hang out with and beat up on. So, there's a little bit of that, but, just looking forward to the rest of the year, man. We got, there's still a lot of racing. We're not even, that's like race 2 of the season, right? That's race 2 of the season. We got Bowling Green. We've got Tulsa. We got Boise. We still got the March meet, boys. We still got the March meet. It ain't even over with yet. The Hot Rod Reunion. We got Martin. We got Norwalk. Hell, there might be something else. You got all the Nitro Chaos races. Hell, I think they're racing this weekend, ain't they? So get out there, support the race, man. Get out there, support the race, support the drivers, support your track. Be a badass fan, man, because we love it. We love every bit of it.
I just want to say, if you need any crew guys in Costa Rica, I'm available. Kelly's has to come with me on that one. But just so you know, if any extra plane flights are kicking out for crew guys, you get a boat that's broke down, I can fix that too.
All right, we're on it. We're on it. We're gonna make something happen. But Vanessa said that anybody goes to Costa Rica with us and brings up drag racing, you're not invited back ever.
I don't know if I can pull that off. That'd be too tough. I don't know.
So solid, bud. Darren, you got anything? What you got? Anything?
No, obviously, like I was following along from at home this past weekend. You guys put on the show out at the NAPA Auto Parts Night of Fire and Thunder out of Bandimere Speedway. Obviously, we all know this is Bandimere's final year as a racetrack, 65 years of history, and you guys kicked off their race season in a great way. Can't wait for Les Mayhew's video on that. Les does a great job. He's a badass. And I will actually, once I can get into contact with Jim Young and get some quotes from him, I'll write an article for competitionplus.com recapping this race from this past weekend. But no, just thank you to everybody who's tuning in tonight. And thank you for tuning in to episode 12 of the Kings of the Sport podcast featuring Bryan Hall and co-host Michael Anderson. And if you guys would do me a solid, since you guys are all on right now, if you would do me a solid, go over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, American Hot Rod Entertainment. That's American Hot Rod Entertainment. Go subscribe to that and like American Hot Rod Entertainment on Facebook. A lot of great drag racing action, nostalgia top fuel, nostalgia funny car, big show top fuel, big show funny car, anything drag racing, all on that YouTube channel. So do me a solid, go over and subscribe to that. And also thank you to Bobby Bennett, leader of competitionplus.com, letting us stream live on Competition Plus YouTube and Facebook. Want to give a shout out to him. And yeah, I think that's about it. And thank you guys for coming on the show, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.
All right, bud. See ya.
Good night.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.